Most men don't get wrecked by the breakup. They get wrecked by what they do next. Staying friends, chasing answers, replaying every conversation, thinking time will fix it. Watch, that's how men dig a deeper hole. Watch today's episode to the end to avoid the 7 mistakes that keep men trapped after she's gone.
We're going live, baby.
We'll do it live.
You're listening to the premier podcast for men who want to not only be better with women, but want to be better men in general. This is the Come On Man podcast. And here's your host,
Paul Bauer.
Paul Bauer.
Paul Bauer.
Paul Bauer.
Paul Bauer.
Paul Bauer.
Paul Bauer. He is a certified master life coach and NLP practitioner.
It's true. It's damn true. Man, I keep flubbing up those intros, man. I need more coffee in the morning, or maybe I need to not have insomnia and not have problems go to sleep at night. I don't know. Anyway, it's hump day again, boys. Best day of the week. If you are new to the channel, my name is Paul Bauer. I help men level up and get better with women. And the funny thing about doing that is it tends to make us better men in all areas of our lives. After a breakup, men can be pretty predictable. And it's an ego-crushing blow to get dumped, right? And the rejection tends to breed obsession. And that's when men get into their feels and start making a lot of irrational decisions that keep them from moving forward in life. And we're going to talk about some of those today. And I have an acquaintance in the men's space who sort of takes advantage of the situation because it is so predictable. He stopped being a dating coach a couple years ago and became a breakup coach because all these dudes are trying to get their exes back. And he's like, all right, man, gotta give the people what they want. And so that's what he does. He's essentially still teaching dating because how to get your ex back requires you to basically move on. It requires you to move on, to give them some time to miss you. And that's when they reach out. It's weird. It's like when you finally let them go, that's when they come sniffing back around. But we're going to be talking about why that's a terrible idea today. But breakups themselves, they don't ruin men. What ruins men is what they do in the first 30 to 90 days afterwards. And a lot of it is, like I'm talking about here, is they become obsessive. They don't like that they got dumped, and now they're in a situation where that's all they can think about. That's all they can think about. I've got to get her back. How do I get her back? If I just work on myself, it's just often a losing battle, and it's not worth it. It's not worth it. By the way, guys, I do have new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Smash that like button, hit subscribe if you haven't done so already, and make sure you hit the notification bell so you get notified whenever I go live. But YouTube's not that great about that. So just mark your calendar every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern time. So mistake number 1, right? Because we're going to talk about the 7 brutal mistakes that men make today. Mistake number 1 is trying to stay friends, right? You staying friends, this is essentially the friend zone. This is why men don't trust women who have male best friends, because every man knows that a guy best friend is really just waiting for an opportunity. He's waiting for an opportunity to hit it, right? Smash that like button if you know for a fact that guys who agreed to the friend zone, they're really just waiting for an opportunity. Smash that like button, right? But this keeps the wound open. You're volunteering for front row seats to your own replacement while pretending that you're okay with it, right? And you're really doing it in the hopes of being able to get back in her good graces, in the hopes that the next guy that she has in her life messes up. This is what we call cuttlefish game, right? Or we can't cuss. We're not at the 8-minute mark. Sneaky bastard game, right? This is what beta males do. So if you're accepting The friend zone, just know you're being a beta male. You're allowing her to put you on the back burner as a plan B option in case things with this new guy doesn't work out. Okay. You should be insulted if someone says, hey, we should just be friends. You know what I mean? Like that should be insulting to you. You should be like, no, I already have friends. Thank you very much. That's gonna be a hard pass. I'm not here to be your friend. Right? And man, a lot of nice guys and notoriously bad daters, average frustrated chumps, whatever you want to call them, they believe the nonsense where women talk about, oh, we've got to be friends first. We got to be friends first. They're like, yeah, that makes sense. I want to date my best friend. I want to be in a relationship with my best friend. Right? Well, if you treat her like a friend, she's going to put you in the friend zone. And you can only be put in the friend zone if you accept a friendship offer from a woman. Okay. And if you have any kind of attraction for her, you are shooting yourself in the foot. You are causing yourself a whole bunch of unnecessary heartache because she's not choosing you. Okay. You're her plan B option in case things don't work out. Then she'll settle for you. Okay. And then it'll be the worst relationship ever. But friendship, after a breakup, it's fear. It's fear in disguise, if you think about it. It's fear of silence. It's fear of the finality of it all. It's the fear of being alone. A lot of you guys have no idea how to be alone. You basically went from high school, leaving your mom's house, to rushing into marriage, with the first girl that was nice to you after high school. You guys were married all through your 20s and most of your 30s, and then you got divorced, and now you found my channel, and you still don't know how to be alone, right? You got to learn how to be alone. You got to learn to be okay with it, right? You got to learn to be your own mental point of origin, be your own man, and learn to just enjoy your own company for a while before you're ready to, start dating again. But the big takeaway here with trying to stay friends, I really want you guys to think about today is you are settling for being her plan B option. Okay. You are settling for being her plan B option. Don't accept that kind of crap. All right. Let me ask you a question. What was the dumbest thing you did right after a breakup that you regret now? Let me know in the chat, or if you're watching the replay, drop a comment below. If you guys are listening on Spotify, drop a comment. I respond to all the comments unless they're really dumb. Right? But most of the comments I get on the long form content is usually pretty good. It's usually my shorts that I have all the clowns on there. So what was the dumbest thing you did right after a breakup that you regret now? Let me know in the comments. Mistake number 2, looking for closure from her, right? Closure never comes from the person who rejected you. Okay. And just waiting for it keeps you mentally stuck in her hands. Closure is completely overrated. You're never going to actually get any kind of closure. You're never going to get a satisfactory answer for why the breakup happened. It's best to just mentally close that yourself and not try to seek answers and shit from her, right? Because that's just going to tear you up with the rumination, which we're going to get into in a little bit, but you're gonna replay things in your mind, and you're gonna have questions that you're gonna want answered, and that's just gonna keep you in a place of not moving forward, right? Every extra conversation after the breakup trains your nervous system to stay attached instead of recalibrating, right? So you're still trying to keep in contact with her, just for the hopes of getting some semblance of closure, but closure never really comes. Okay. So you need to move past the idea of trying to get closure. Now, if your idea of closure is being able to hit it one last time, because that's essentially what it is, right? Like you just want to hit it one more time. That's what closure is. It's not worth it, man. It's not worth it in the long run. By the way, guys, if you are in this spot right now, you've recently got through a divorce, you recently got through a breakup, you've agreed to be her friend, you're still looking for closure, you're everything's running through your mind about her like this. It's really hold on, is it this one? Hold on, it's this one. you really need to forget that bitch. You got dumped, divorced, or ghosted? Good. Because that pain you're feeling right now, if you use it right, it can make you unstoppable. But first, you need to forget her for good. Most men, they waste months, even years chasing closure that never comes. They keep scrolling her feed, stalking her socials, replaying every word she said. That's not just self-torture, it's weak. And you're not weak, not anymore. Forget what your buddies or your mom tell you. Screw being vulnerable. This isn't about making her see your worth. It's about never letting a breakup wreck you again. That's exactly why I wrote Forget That Bitch. This book isn't your average breakup advice. No sugarcoating, no false hope, just raw, honest truth. She's not coming back. You can't fix what's broken, and you're wasting your life every second you spend obsessing. So what do? You get pissed, then you get focused. You rebuild your confidence. You hit the gym, chase your purpose, build your empire. This is your wake-up call. Use the pain as fuel. Cut the cord cold. Because the minute you stop caring about her, your real comeback starts. Inside Forget That Bitch, you'll learn why obsessing over your ex is killing your masculinity. Why you need to quit being a nice guy and start being the man you were born to be. Real steps, real talk, no bullshit. Ready to stop living in her shadow? Grab Forget That Bitch on Amazon or listen to it on Audible today. Don't just get over her. Get over the man you used to be and never let this happen again.
You know, one of my favorite things about that commercial is how it's like, you got to stop being a nice guy. And then it's like the very next like B-roll is like a dude with a throat tattoo and a like a leather jacket smoking a cigarette. Like that's how you got to be. You know what I mean? After a breakup, you need to turn into an absolute Chad, right? It doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt, guys. That's all I'm going to say. All right. Mistake number 3. Obsessive rumination. Obsessive rumination. So constantly replaying conversations, texts, arguments, all that kind of stuff. It doesn't really create much insight. All it does is creates friction. And it keeps you from moving forward. Like a lot of guys who are obsessing over their exes, they have a terrible time on the dating circuit because they're literally comparing every girl to their ex. They're like, oh, it's, and they're trying to make this new girl into their ex. And that's never going to work out. That's never going to work out. This is a completely new chick. You can't turn her into your ex, and a lot of guys are like, oh, well, the ex, she was just so great. So great. If you really think back on your past relationship, there was probably a lot of not so great things. You guys were probably fighting quite a bit at the end. She was probably being, pushing you away and being real distant at the end, right? Because women do this stuff. Women, like before they dump you, they usually mentally check out months or years before they actually pull that trigger. And during that time, after they've mentally checked out, they're lining up mail orbiters and they're trying to find your replacement. They're socking money away. They're planning their exit. So by the time she actually drops that brick in your lap, she's already been gone. You're just the last one to know, right? That's why a lot of women end up in relationships immediately after a breakup, because that guy was there the whole time. She might not have been banging him the whole time, right? But that guy was always there, and she finally got to a place where she probably did bang him, and now she's like, okay, now I have to pull the trigger. You know what I mean? So you obsessing over this stuff, it's not going to change anything. It just keeps you stuck in the past, right? And like I keep saying this, rejection breeds obsession. Rejection tends to make men obsessive, and that obsession sometimes feels productive. You feel like, okay, I'm strategizing here. I'm doing something, but it's pure stagnation. You are not moving forward. You are not leveling up and getting better. You know what I mean? Like you're not improving yourself to find a better woman. And I really like to tell you guys this. I think I read it in I want to say Models. I think it was in Mark Manson's Models book is where I got this. Pretty sure. I like to give credit where credit's due. But even if you think your ex was 1 in a million, there's 4 billion women on the planet. So mathematically speaking, there's 4,000 chicks just like her out there. So you being hung up on this one, it's absolute insanity when there's 4,000 other chicks exactly like her out here. She's not special, right? There's always another woman. There's another bus every 15 minutes. We try to teach in this space abundance, right? Abundance mentality. Have an abundance mindset. Now, one thing that off on a side tangent here, I'm really big into the woo-woo. I'm really big into law of attraction, right? And you have to have an abundant mentality in all areas of your life, right? But a lot of guys in this space, they have an abundance mindset when it comes to women, but they don't have an abundance mindset when it comes to business. You know what I mean? And so everyone in this space is really competitive. And it's like, when you have an abundance mindset with everything, you realize that there's plenty to go around, and you operate on a creative plane instead of a competitive plane, right? Anyway, that's for a Frame Friday episode, maybe. But a part of having good mental frame is getting rid of that obsessive ruminating mind. If you find yourself stuck in a pattern where all you're doing is just obsessing over something and not actually taking any action, you need to snap yourself out of it. You know what I mean? A good way to do that that forces you into the present is it's an NLP technique called the instant state change. And the instant state change is this: when you catch yourself, everything comes down to awareness, right? So once you're aware that you're obsessively ruminating over a chick, you need to force yourself into the present moment, because right now your mind is living in the past. And a good way of doing that is to just stop what you're doing, look around the room, right? And then just start observing everything that you see right now in the room. Okay, so stop, look, and then listen. What sounds do you hear? Do you hear any sounds? Do you hear the hum of computer towers under your desk? Like, what do you hear? Do you hear streets outside? Do you hear the little bell of a cat outside the window here? Like, what do you hear? Right? So stop, look, listen, right? And then smell. What do you smell? What does the air smell like? Does it smell like old dirty laundry because you're a bachelor now? You haven't washed your laundry? Like, what's the air smell like? Does it smell like feet and cheese in your apartment? You might want to work on that, okay? But stop, look, listen, smell brings you to the present moment, right? And snaps you out of thinking about the past, okay? So if you are in a state like that, obsessive ruminating thoughts about your ex or whatever, practice that. Just once you notice it, stop, look, listen, smell. Okay. NLP, it's magic. By the way, guys, if you get value out of these episodes, do consider sending a super chat. That helps support the show more than anything else. I am monetized again on Facebook, so you guys on Facebook can send me stars. It's literally the same thing. No one on Facebook has ever sent me a star. I don't think most people on Facebook know what that feature is. You know what I mean? I don't think they promote that very well, but y'all can send me stars if you want, or you can head on over to YouTube and send me a super chat. Mistake number 4, trying to prove you've changed. So any attempt to show improvement for her approval reinforces the exact dynamic that probably ended things. Okay. When you're seeking a woman's approval, you are putting her on a pedestal, and you're groveling, asking for her approval of you. The thing is about women's hypergamous nature is they need to see the man that they're attracted to as above them in some way. But you put her on a pedestal and you're trying to get her approval, right? You're begging for her approval when you're like, hey, look, I've lost all the weight. Hey, look, I've been working on my mindset. Hey, just so you know, I've been really, reading the love languages and shit, right? You're not doing self-improvement for the right reasons. You're doing it for her. And that approval-seeking behavior makes her look down on you, which further erodes that attraction, if there was any left at all at this point. You see what I'm saying? It's not going to work. And the thing is that women aren't stupid. Women know how, like, guys operate procedure. Like I said at the beginning, men become very predictable. And so when you start doing this kind of stuff to prove you've changed, she knows it's not real. She knows that you're just going to fall back on your old habits, whatever it was that caused her to lose attraction for you in the first place. She knows that it's not a real thing. It's just a facade in order to get back into her pants. And women aren't stupid. You know, dudes have been trying to bang her since she was 13 years old. She's not stupid. She knows how men operate. You know what I mean? So you doing that stuff is really just hurting you further. It's one of the things I talked about yesterday on the sponsored stream, because the guy who sent the email in, he said that he practiced all the red pill stuff, did all the dread stuff, and she still left, right? And when you get down to the bottom of the email, he says, well, I was doing this stuff in the hopes of, you know, fixing the marriage and fixing the, you know, basically I'm doing all this stuff for her. And when you do that, it's just one giant covert contract that women can see instantly through. This is one of the reasons why, like if you are in a dead bedroom situation, like forget the breakup. If you're in a dead bedroom situation and you're doing all this stuff for her and it's performative, she's going to test you harder because she wants to know if this is really you. If this are you making this a part of your identity and your personality now, so you just do this by default? Or is this just, you know, a means to an end for you and you're just going to fall back on the old habits? Her shit tests are going to show, like, because if you haven't truly worked on your mental frame, you're going to fail all of her shit tests. And she's going to know. Like, women are really good at this sort of thing, okay? So self-improvement done for validation. It's not, you're not doing it for the right you're not doing it for the right reasons. It's just delayed desperation wearing gym clothes. You know what I mean? You're not doing it because you really want to get fit. You're not doing it because you really want to have a healthier lifestyle. You're not doing it so that you look sexier in the mirror for you, right? You're doing it because you're trying to get back in her good graces. It's just not a good strategy. By the way, guys, if you want to swap notes about this sort of thing, we have a lot of guys that are going through divorces and breakups and stuff in the wolf pack right now. And if you want to swap notes with other guys that are going through it so you don't have to go through it alone, jump in the wolf pack. We are having our monthly hangout tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern time.
Beer club? Not anymore.
Wolfpack, you fix what's broken. You lead like a man again. Too sweet, no pity, no therapy. Just fire, just flame. Cold bed, broken home, midlife drift, feeling alone. You don't need hacks, blogs, lies. You need men with fire in their eyes. We rebuild from the ground up. No excuses, no soft stuff. Telegram lit 24/7. Brothers locked in, steel, not heaven. Step inside the pack. We don't fall, we attack. Truth, fire, presence, we bring it back. Masculine pride, no time to slack. Step inside the pack. Drop your past, claim your track. No therapy talk, no playing small. We sharpen blades, we take it all.
For the love of God, somebody too sweet me for that one. All right, we got a bunch of guys in the chat. We got Handsome Pete says, hey, all. What's going on, Pete? Brother Omega's in the house. He said, I destroyed my coffee already. I did too, man, and I need more. Oh, man. AK Renegade 426 is Brother CW. He says, starting my coffee now. Morning, gents, and Nurse Chick back on live. I don't think Nurse Chick's going to make it today. She's got to take her grandma to the hospital or something. Phil's in the house. He said, hoorah. What's going on, Devil Dog? And Bro Science 101. Yes, that's what we're doing here, right? And let's see here. I'm not allowed to say. YouTube definitely would delete it. Are you talking about the question about what was the dumbest thing you did? Code word, innuendo, code word. Yeah. Let's see here. If you hike 10 miles into the woods, you have to hike 10 miles out. The problem is getting that deep in your head in the first place. Oh, that's an interesting metaphor. Okay. Yes, smashing like is alpha, guys. That is true. The female logically views all emotions as weak. I don't know about that. I don't know about all emotions, but all right. Comparing your ex to new chicks is like comparing your old car to the new one and expecting the new one to drive like your old one because we like to hold on to familiarity. Yeah, that's a good analogy. The dumbest thing I did was chase harder to prove my love, not knowing that she probably was getting her guts rearranged by the guy who was just a friend. 304s, I tell you. 304s, am I right? Yeah. Outcome independent mindset. It starts with one little thought and snowballs. The key is to not go down that road. These skills may literally save your sanity one day. Absolutely. I agree with that. We get a too sweet. All right. All right. Good to see you guys. All right. Yeah. So we're having our pack hangout tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern time. If you go to wolf.comeonmanpod.com, there's a 7-day free trial. So today would be a good day to sign up for it and then show up for the hangout tomorrow. And if you like it, stay in the group. If you don't like it, you can cancel before you get charged. No harm, no foul. All right. All right. Where are we at here? We're on mistake number 5, emotional dumping on friends or social media. You guys remember the term vague booking? Do you guys even use Facebook anymore? I'm literally streaming to Facebook right now. So someone's probably watching on Facebook going, what are you talking about? I'm on Facebook right now. I vague book all the time, right? You guys remember the term vague booking though, where you can tell after a breakup, someone's just starts posting all this shit. What guys tend to do is post about their heartbreak, right? And women start posting fucking random inspirational quotes. Like, that someone went through a breakup when they But talking endlessly about her keeps your identity tied to the loss instead of rebuilding autonomy, right? You've tied your identity to the relationship so much that all you could do is think about her and the relationship, right? And that's a big problem for guys, because guys are the true romantics. We are the idealists. We are the ones that are truly looking for a happy ever after Disney fairy tale. Women are opportunists. You know what I mean? Like they go into relationships with the concept of what can you do for me? Whereas men go into the relationship for love. Like men are like the way men love women is it's true love. Like by the dictionary definition of love, the biblical definition of love is how men love women typically. Women don't love men that way though. Women love men for what they can provide. It's just how it is. Now it could be, it's not necessarily money and a house and all that kind of stuff. It's other things, right? They want to feel emotionally safe and secure and all that kind of stuff. They want their skittle diddled just right. You know what I mean? Like there's benefits that they're looking for. And men are like, yeah, the benefits are nice, but I really just want a soulmate, right? Like men are fucking whatever. So once she dumps them, their identity is so tied up in the relationship because they're the idealists that's all they could think about, and they tend to emotionally dump, right? And they one of the worst things you can do one of the worst things you can do when you finally decide, okay, I'm going to go back out in the dating circuit, is talk a whole bunch of shit about your ex. You know what I mean? Like if all you could do, if all day long all you could do is talk a bunch of shit about your ex, like you have some work to do. And we have some guys in the wolf pack going through a divorce. And there was one guy going through a divorce. I mean, his situation is pretty shitty. His wife really did try to screw him over. So I get it. But I challenged him. I said, hey man, can you go like, I can't remember what I challenged him for, like 24 hours without talking about her. Can you go 24 hours? And then like literally, half a day goes by and he's bitching about her or whatever. And I'm like, you failed already. you can't go a whole day without talking about this bitch. Like, stop, man. That means that all you're doing is obsessing over her. All right. And you're emotionally dumping on everybody. And like the Wolfpack's a better place for that than vague booking on social media. But at some point, you got to move on, brother. And we're going to call you out in the pack. We're going to do it because you need it. You know, we're going to give you what you need. Right? We're not there to commiserate with you. We're there to help you level up and get better. Right? So emotional dumping on friends or social media, it's not going to help you. Okay. And men who heal the fastest, they talk less and they act more. Okay. They take actions instead of just talking about shit. Right. And it's not because like your feelings don't matter, but because repetition cements identity. The more negativity that you talk about your ex, the more your mind can't stop thinking about her. And you'll never forget that bitch if all you could do is think about her and talk about her all the time. Right? A lot of you guys don't even realize this, but your self-talk are affirmations. They're affirmations, right? Like I'm a big proponent of affirmations, right? Using affirmations, saying the same sentences on repeat over and over again seeps into your subconscious mind and makes things a habit. It creates paradigms, right? Aaron Clary gives me shit about this stuff all the time. I don't know if you guys don't know who Aaron Clary is, he's the world's youngest, oldest man on the internet, right? And he's a total curmudgeon, and his videos are hilarious, and his books are great. But dude's like he's such a negative Nancy. And when he reviews my books, I talk about affirmations a lot. He gives me so much shit about affirmations, and he compares it to Stuart Smalley from Saturday Night Live. You know, I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and doggone it, people like me. And he doesn't even realize that all his negative self-talk and all of his negative shit that he spews online are affirmations that he says on repeat that he's doing to himself, right? He would have a much more positive outlook on life if he talked positively. It's just I don't know if you guys tuned into Frame Friday a couple of weeks ago, but I read Earl Nightingale's book, The Strangest Secret. Right. It's a very short audio book. You can find it on YouTube. There's a free version of it in the Wolfpack. But one of the things that he says in there is that positive thinking creates positive results. Negative thinking creates negative results. You don't have to sit there with a gold card and read affirmations to be saying affirmations. It's whatever you're thinking about the most on repeat, right? And in any kind of negative self-talk you say to yourself on repeat, you're storing that shit in your subconscious mind and you start believing that stuff, right? You might as well say something positive to yourself. All right. So stop that emotional dumping on friends and social media and start looking towards the future. Okay. Forget that bitch. Literally forget that bitch and start thinking about the future. All right. By the way, guys, if you want to follow me on social media, the links are in the description. I'm on all the good platforms. I've been having a good time because what I'll do is I have no following on X because I got banned back in November. So I'm starting all over from scratch. So no one sees my posts on X. So what I do is, I comment on bigger posts and then I screenshot them and I put that stuff on Facebook and Instagram where it goes viral because I have a decent following on those platforms. Right. Well, the funny thing is lately I've been adding Grok, because Grok is the AI for X and you can just tweet to him and he'll reply to you. Right. and he also, Grok runs the algorithm now. So I like to remind Grok subtly that, hey, you guys are sleeping on my posts. You're not showing them to anybody, but I'm screenshotting them and sending them to your competition where they're doing great. Just so you know, your competition's treating me better than you are. It's AI. He don't fucking care. All right. Where are we at? Mistake number 6, using no contact as a trick, right? So if you read any book on how to get X back, if you go to any breakup coach trying to get your ex back, one of the number one things they're going to tell you to do is go no contact, right? Go no contact. And I talk about it in Forget That Bitch, because here's the thing. Like I said before, a lot of guys are very predictable. So the way this book is written is it talks about, okay, she dumped you. Now, it's time to move on. And like chapter 1 is why it's important to move on. And it's all about, iron rule of tenacity number 7 and why digging through the trash is, whatever. And then, man, I just noticed a formatting issue here. There's like a big, huge double spaces between certain paragraphs and not between these other ones here. I'll have to fix that one of these days. Number 2 is on rejection breeds obsession. And so that one's all about, okay, you didn't listen to me. Now you want to get your ex back. All right, I'll show you how to do it. So I walk you through the proven techniques to get your ex back, right? And number 1 is the no contact rule. But when you're using no contact and you're using these techniques to get your ex back, you're using no contact as a trick, a manipulation tactic, and you're doing it to keep her in the focus still, right? You're going no contact, hoping that she misses you enough that she reaches out, okay? But what you really need to use no contact for is to get her out of your mind, right? And really try to detach from her so that your outcome no longer depends on her response, right? You're not using no contact to get her back. You're using no contact to get her out of your head. Okay. That's the best way to use no contact. Don't use it as a trick to get her back. Use it to get her out of your head. Right. But just what guys tend to do when they're using no contact as a manipulation tactic to get her back is they're counting days. They're checking to see if she viewed their stories on Instagram. They're reading old messages. All that kind of stuff is not moving you forward, right? It's just withdrawal mixed with hope. You're still focused on her and you're not moving forward with your life. You're living in the past with a fairy tale that doesn't exist anymore. Okay? So you're using no contact for the wrong reasons. Okay? So don't do that. If you're going to use no contact at all, use it to help yourself level up and get her out of your head. Because here's the thing: if you're contacting her all the time, right? Let's see here. If you're using no contact, you're not contacting her. But if you're hoping that she contacts you, and then she does eventually contact you, you're still not getting over her. You're still interacting with her. You know what I mean? We have a couple of we have one of the guys in the wolf pack going through a divorce right now, and for a while there, he was literally texting back and forth with his ex-wife like every day and getting into arguments with her over text. And we're like, dude, stop fucking texting her, man. Like, you talk to her too much, and it's not going to do anything. She's not going to do anything you say. You're going through a divorce right now. Like, have your lawyers talk and fucking stop talking to her ass. Right? You're never going to move on if all you do is stay in contact with her and whatever. So you have to go no contact so that you can actually move on. Right? Like, no contact is a good thing. Just make sure you're doing it for the right purposes. And that brings me to mistake number 7, which is trying to rebuild the old relationship. Right? You're doing all this kind of stuff. You're leveling up. You're going to the gym not because you're trying to like, okay, well, I'm going to find a better woman now. I'm going to actually do some self-improvement and make sure I never go through this ever again. I'm doing all this stuff to try to rebuild the old relationship. But the thing is that once that all that respect erodes and attraction fully dissipates, you're negotiating uphill forever. And she's got this preconceived notion of you in her head, right? I talk about it in Keep Your Bitch, right? I talk about it in Keep Your Bitch, but there's an attraction scale. Okay. Attraction is a sliding scale of 1 to 10, right? And when you first meet a chick, her attraction levels at about a 5 or a 6. She has at least some initial interest. She finds you at least, attractive enough that she's going to agree to give you her number or go out on a date with you. That's her attraction's at a 5 or 6. Now, through your interactions and your charm and your game and your frame, you can raise her attraction level up, right? And so, 7 to 8 is where making out and sex tends to happen. And then 9 or 10, she's madly in love with you. But anything below a 5, you're absolutely wasting your time. And by the time a woman drops that brick in your lap and she files for divorce or she dumps you or whatever, her attraction has typically fallen below a 5. And so you're really just wasting your time trying to get back in her good graces, right? And she's got these preconceived notions of how you acted in the relationship, and those never go away. And even if you do, she does agree to go out with you to see if you really did change. She's going to test you even harder to see if this change is real, right? So dynamic doesn't just reset because time passed. It doesn't, okay? So getting back together it often feels like a victory, but then eventually the same patterns reappear, and she realizes what a big mistake it was to get back with you. And it usually ends the same. It almost always ends the same. Getting back together with an ex almost never works out. Almost never. Now, there might be someone watching going, no, I got back together with my ex and we've been married for 10 years or whatever. Like, okay, I mean, great. How's the sex? Right? That's the first thing I'm going to ask. But, okay, great. But that's the exception. It's not the rule. Okay. Exceptions don't necessarily, negate the grander scheme. Okay. And for a vast majority of people, it always ends the same. It's like reading a book, hoping for a different ending. It almost never ends. It almost always ends the same. And men, the funny thing is about all of this, about trying to get your ex back and all that kind of stuff, is men don't typically miss the woman as much as they miss who they were before rejection hit their ego, right? They were in a pattern that felt normal and comfortable to them. And that's typically why attraction erodes, is because you've gotten complacent in your relationship and you started becoming a bump on the log, and you just thought, okay, well, I'm going to be this boring guy that's predictable and all this kind of stuff. And women get bored easily, and they eventually lose attraction, and you fall victim to the betatization process, and they dump your ass, right? Well, now that's a major ego hit. And so now you just want to get back to how things were. You know what I mean? You don't necessarily miss her. You just want things back to how they were. What a lot of guys do also is, let's say they, like I said before, they're always comparing the next chick to their ex, or they're trying to make the next chick their ex. Like this is what happened to me after my divorce. Is I basically went immediately back into husband mode as soon as I met Red Pill Chick, and I became that guy, because I wanted some semblance of normalcy, and that's how I'd lived for 15 years. And, so I basically went back into husband mode and got immediately complacent, right? It's one of the things I had to learn the hard way. It's funny. It's really funny. There's this notion in the space that you can only take advice from guys who have like awesome, amazing relationships. And I'll tell you what, I do have an awesome, amazing relationship. Nurse Chick in my relationship is effortless now. Absolutely effortless. It's one of the most, we've never had a fight. We've never had a single fight. And we're going to be going on 6 years here pretty soon. And we've never had a fight, but that's because of all the shit I learned from all my previous mistakes. Right. So a lot of guys are like, oh, you went through a divorce. Why should I listen to you about relationships? What do you know about it? Well, I know exactly what not to do. People who've had a smooth life and they've never had to learn anything. They don't know why they've had success. It's just luck to them. You know what I mean? Like, they couldn't tell you why. It's communication. That's all it is. It's bullshit. Bullshit. The fastest recovery path is ruthless simplicity. Remove access, remove reminders, and redirect your energy to the future. All right? Remove access, remove reminders, redirect energy to the future. One of the things that I talk about here is one of the ways to completely get her out of your head is to block her. Block her on all social media. You don't need to be seeing what she's doing. In fact, like when you do see what she's doing and you see her with other guys and stuff, it's just going to fucking mentally crush you anyway. It's not going to help you. Right. So fucking block her. Not so that she can't see what you're doing so much as it is to prevent you from seeing what she's doing. Okay. Remove that access. Even block her text messages if you can. Right now, if you guys are divorced and you guys have a shared parenting plan, you can't completely go no contact with your ex. You do have to co-parent. You know what I mean? So at least, leave text messaging open. Text messaging and emails are good because you have a record of conversations too, in case, you have to go back to court for whatever reason. But otherwise, like, you don't need to see what she's doing on social media. So block her ass. Okay. You want to remove all reminders of her. So get rid of pictures and shit. You know what I mean? Like one thing I love and hate about Facebook is their Facebook memories feature. Facebook memories like always pop up, and sometimes they're good memories, sometimes they're bad memories, right? Like, so for a long time, it kept showing me like pictures of me and like Red Pill Chick or me and my ex-wife and stuff like that. They would pop up every so often. So I would always go into those whenever they popped up and put them on private, like I could see that. And I don't want to see this again, basically. You know what I mean? Like, you want to get rid of those reminders because those reminders are just going to keep you stuck in the past. Okay. The past doesn't exist. The past and the future don't exist. The only thing you have is right now. Now you can change your future by your actions now, right? But you can't change the past. So there's no sense hanging out there. You know what I mean? And you want to redirect your energy. You want to really start focusing on making sure this shit never happens to you again. So like, go to the gym, work on your muscles, work on your mental frame so that, you handle shit tests better, learn better communication skills, all that kind of stuff, learn better relationship skills. A lot of you guys out there are so frustrated with dating and relationships and women, and you don't realize that it's a skill issue. It's a total skill issue. It's like anything else. All right. If you went through a divorce and, a lot of guys are like, they're in dead bedrooms, and a lot of guys on social media are like, oh, just divorce her, bro. Just divorce her. Okay. But you still don't have good enough relationship skills to prevent that shit from happening in the future. And you're just going to carry that shit to your next relationship, and you're going to have the same results in your next relationship until you work on you and your relationship skills. It's just how it is. That's why people have a type, right? Or that's why people, they end up basically dating the same person over and over again with a different face. It's because they never work on themselves, right? So redirect your energy to focusing on you and leveling up and get better relationship skills, money, muscles, game, and frame, right? You need all that kind of stuff. Well, you don't need money for relationship skills, but you definitely need, game and frame for if you're going to be good at relationships. Even if you're going to be good at just spinning plates, you have to have good game and frame. Pain handled correctly sharpens discipline, and pain indulged becomes identity. Yeah. You know what though? Discipline also creates identity. This is kind of a stupid sentence here. Sometimes I look at my notes going, what the fuck do I have here? But yeah, if you have good discipline, that creates a good identity. But if you're just wallowing in self-pity and pain, that's a negative identity. Moving on, it's not necessarily about replacing her. It's about reclaiming your time, attention, and self-trust. It's really becoming your own mental point of origin and doing what's best for you. You know what I mean? Oh, you know what? I just realized I'm actually not streaming to Facebook today. God, you know what? Facebook is one of the hardest platforms to stream to. You create a stream, a scheduled stream, and like it works like 2 days in advance, but 3 days later, like their codes, their keys change, and then like everything fucks up. I end up having like Restream puts like 20 different scheduled events on my timeline, and I'm like, fuck, like it's such a mess. I hate Facebook sometimes. Anyway, the goal after a breakup is not emotional comfort. It's rebuilding a life where her opinion is no longer relevant. More importantly, it's about never letting this kind of shit happen to you again. Never letting this kind of shit happen to you again. Leveling yourself up so much that you only spend time with better women, for one. And two, once you spend time with these better women, you know how to handle them better. And then you stay lovingly detached enough that if you do go through a breakup, you're not spiraling and fucking ruminating and like, so heartbroken. You're just like, okay, whatever. Women are women. Women are hypergamous, whatever. All right, guys, that's all I got for this episode. What else do we got here? Omega says, I pretty much stopped posting status updates on Facebook. You know what? That's a fascinating thing, Omega. When you level up and you're no longer validation seeking and your own mental point of origin, you don't need social media anymore. Like I almost never post anything on my personal social media, almost never. Right. And I used to be that guy that I'd post everything. I'd post like every time I had a fucking cup of coffee, got to take a picture of that shit, post that on social media. Hey, everybody, I'm eating a ham sandwich right now. Right. Like when you're doing that, it's inherently validation seeking, which you're basically acting like a woman. It's just not a good productive habit, like where you could be focusing on, working on your money and shit like that. You know what I mean? Now I post on social media for the business, but I'm trying to get people to watch the podcast. You know what I mean? There's a method to the madness here. CJ says the past is a backwards rationalization to explain your current state of being. That's an interesting way of looking at it. I don't disagree with that. All right, guys, that's all I got for this episode. I hope you found it useful. If you haven't yet, if you're stuck in this state where you're doing these 7 things, grab my book, Forget That Bitch, and also grab the workbook that goes with it. In all these books, at the very beginning, there's a QR code to find the workbook. So a lot of people ask me like, hey, how do I find the workbook? In all these books, there's a QR code at the beginning. To scan that, it'll take you to Amazon and you can buy the workbook there, or you can go to, for the workbook for this, go to workbook.getoveryourx.us and you can buy a workbook directly from me that way. All right, guys, that's all I got. Tune into the podcast Friday. We're going to be talking about how your emotions are bad and you should feel bad for having them. Okay? I'm just kidding. We're going to talk about why your emotions are not the problem and how suppressing them actually is a problem. And it will be Frame Friday, and it's the most important episode of the week. If you guys aren't tuning into Frame Fridays, you guys are really missing out, because when you work on what's up here, everything else tends to fall into place. That's all I got for this episode, guys. Do be sure to like, subscribe, hit those notifications. I have new episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Other than that, we'll see you next time.
This has been the Come On Man podcast. Now, go out and get it.